Hey everyone! So I'm that friend. I'm that really annoying friend that talks about her interests nonstop. This would be fine, but my issue is one of my hyperfixations is Bollywood. Growing up in America, not a lot of people are as into it as I am, which is also fine. I can still love the thing, but that doesn't mean I won't try to get people into it. Over quarantine, I've had so much fun hosting these Netflix parties for my friends where we all get together and I introduce them to one of my favorite Bollywood movies and we get to talk about it in the chat or afterwards, and usually we just question why it isn't more gay. But I try to pick movies that I know they can watch without too much background knowledge on the Indian film industry and still enjoy, and I thought I was pretty good at it. So here are some movies that are really beloved by me and many others, and also really accessible watches for non-Indian audiences. They don't have super obscure references or storylines that are too difficult to understand if you didn't grow up Indian or South Asian. These are also movies that are referenced in other Bollywood movies, should you continue to watch Bollywood. So without further ado, here is my Bollywood starter kit, or just movies you should watch. So my first recommendation is actually a 2-in-1. It's either Kuch Kuch Hota Hai or Dilwale Dulhania Le Jayenge. Both are amazing. The reason I'm recommending these movies is because of the main actors. Kajol and Shah Rukh Khan dominated the rom-com genre in the 90s the same way Meg Ryan and Tom Hanks did in America. Their movies are pitch-perfect love stories that still hold up. So Kuch Kuch Hota Hai is my all-time favorite Bollywood movie, so I'm a little biased here. One time when I was 12, my friend's grandma was watching it on TV and it didn't have subtitles, and a bunch of our friends were over at this friend's house, and I ended up just translating the entire movie for them, not because I knew Hindi really well, but because I had just memorized this movie, and I still love it so much. I still reference it all the time in casual conversation. If I'm offering someone juice, I will go, juice, juice, Rahul juice. It's great. I love that movie. This story is about an 8-year-old girl whose mission from her mother is to get her father to fall in love again. It utilizes one of my favorite devices, the flashback, and it's all about growing up. It's about college, it's about first loves, it's about best friends, and it's about evolving friendship. And what I love about this movie is that there's no real bad guy. It's just the situation, and just it's a gorgeous movie. It's really, really fun, it's funny, it's over the top sometimes, the music is fun, the fashion is very, very 90s, there are a lot of Gap hoodies. Highly recommend. But Dilwale Dulhania Le Jayenge, or DDLJ, is the movie with the train scene that was heard and referenced around the world forevermore. I'm serious about around the world. The half of it, which is an excellent gay coming-of-age movie on Netflix, references a different train scene, but that train scene that they references DDLJ. It's everywhere. This movie also has excellent songs that I constantly go back to. This story starts with two people who meet on a train touring through Europe. So if you want to see Europe and two people who are antagonistic and then fall in love, and the ending is just so dramatic in this one. So if you want to traipse through Europe while falling in love, I highly recommend this one. So Kuch Kuch Hota Hai is friends to lovers, while DDLJ has a little more of an enemies to lovers vibe, except like neither of them are bad people. They're just like, they just butt heads a lot, and it's real cute. It's like bickering married couple to lovers. So the next movie I want to recommend is called Sholay. This movie is from 1975 and it is one of the most beloved movies of all time. Amitabh Bachchan, who is probably the most famous person in India, stars in this movie. This is a classic story of heroism and adventure, and it features one of the most iconic movie villains of all time, Gabbar Singh. It's one of the movies that really solidified Amitabh as a legend in Bollywood, and it's just a fun, adventurous movie about like saving the girl and friendship, and yeah, I really love it. And it's got the best song about friendship ever. It's called Ye Dosti, which means this friendship. And yeah, it's really fun. It's really sweet. It's got 70s vibes, which like are great. Okay, so this next movie is I really hesitated on recommending this movie. This next movie is Hum Saath Saath Hai. I hate this movie with a burning passion. I really do. I cannot stand it as a film. And I mostly want you to watch it so you can understand why I hate it so much, because a lot of people love it. A lot of people love this movie, and the likelihood that you'll actually dislike this movie as much as I do is very low. This is a feel-good, non-story about a family that lives a perfect life. That's it. That's the movie. But the songs are some of my favorites from the 90s, and if you want to watch a movie where absolutely nothing happens, this is the movie for you. The songs are great. Karishma Kapoor is great. You get to see a young Saif Ali Khan, who is still a superstar, and ended up marrying Karishma Kapoor's younger sister. And they have a kid, and it's great. But I will say, like, if you're the type of person who, like, doesn't want any conflict and just wants to chill and watch something comforting, this is a great one. I promise I won't recommend to you any more movies that I hate. I promise. The next movie I'm going to talk about is Three Idiots, which you might have heard of if you're, like, somewhat familiar with Bollywood and, like, you've seen some Bollywood movies. This might be one that you've seen. This is a movie that is absolutely hilarious, but still takes itself seriously when it needs to. Three Idiots is about three best friends in an extremely rigorous engineering program. It's about the pressure that both students put on themselves, but also that the administration and the culture really puts on the students to be absolutely perfect in this program, and it's a complete criticism of that way of thinking about schooling. There is a really great genre of Bollywood movies that criticize society, and this is up on the list for me of that kind of movie because it does so without beating you over the head with the lesson. It's just really fun. It's still fun, and it's still about friendship first and foremost, and it's very silly sometimes. And the silliness is what makes the serious stuff feel balanced and feel right. It also gives you a really nice and easy way to calm yourself down sometimes, which is just to pat your heart and say, all is well. All is well. Okay, the next movie we're going to talk about is Jab We Met, which I still get notes on a years-old Tumblr post talking about this movie. Because it's just that good. This movie is the perfect 2000s rom-com. Kareena Kapoor shines as Geet, a happy-go-lucky girl who ends up on this unexpected adventure with Shahid Kapoor's character, who is depressed about a lot of things. But it is not the typical manic pixie dream girl trope, even though at times it feels like it will go there. It's not just the narrative of the girl saving the boy from himself and the girl just existing for the boy and being this perfect image of what the boy needs in that moment. They end up saving each other and growing and learning from each other in a really beautiful way. And it's such a fun movie with such great music, and it's got another train scene or two. It really loves its train scenes, and I really love train scenes. What can I say? I like them. They're a good trope. They're a really good Bollywood trope. And when it's done well, it's done so well. So the next movie I want to talk about is Chak De India. This movie is so good, and I still feel like it's so underrated. This movie combines what makes a really good sports movie with a great feminist message. It's about the women's Indian national field hockey team, and it's about their trials and tribulations as they make their way to the World Cup. It's fiction, though. It is not based on a true story that I know of. While this movie still does star a man, Shah Rukh Khan, as the coach of this women's team, it does shine a light on a lot of issues surrounding women in sports in India and around the world. And it's a really good story, and it doesn't spend as much time on the coach as it wants to, which I really like. It really does try to balance the coach's story, who's the big Bollywood star that'll, bring in the box office numbers, with the stories of all of the girls on the team. And I really enjoyed that. And who doesn't love a good sports movie? I love a good sports movie. I just like sports. Not that much, but I like live sports because it feels like you're watching a story play out, and I like sports movies because you're watching a story play out. I don't know. Somewhere I watched, someone recently said something about, what is the plot in sports? And, yeah, I'm the person who likes to find the plot in the sport that is happening. So, I love a good sports movie. So the last movie I'm going to talk about today is Jodha Akbar. This movie from 2008 is probably my favorite period piece out of India. It tells the love story of Akbar the Great, who was a Mughal emperor who married and then fell in love with Jodha Bai, who was a Hindu princess. It's so well done. And it has incredible music, incredible sets, incredible costumes. Oh my god, the costumes. And it features Aishwarya Rai with a sword for a scene. But I, for one, am never going to turn down a movie with women with swords. Ever. It's just beautifully done. There's no other word for it. There is war and there is violence in it because the Mughal Empire was just that, an empire trying to take over all of the South Asian continent, but it's still so well done. Disclaimer, while this movie is based in history, it does not tell a complete depiction of history. Yeah, I'm just saying, this movie was made in 2008 and it would not be able to be made today based on the political climate of India. It's a very well done movie, work of fiction. Disclaimer, disclaimer, disclaimer. You should watch it though. It's very good. So, that is it for this video. Obviously, these are my own recommendations based on my taste and experiences as an NRI who loves Bollywood, but clearly I veer more towards the rom-coms and the love stories, and there is a whole other world of Bollywood out there. So I would love to know what you would recommend for someone who is watching Bollywood for the first time. Would you recommend the same things I did? Would you maybe show them some horror, show them something completely different? I would love to know what you think. And if you are not familiar with Bollywood, I'd love for you to watch these movies and then come back and let me know what you think. Please let me know in the comments down below, or you can join me on Twitch every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, where we talk about movies and books and music and so much more while I make some embroidery or earrings or something. I made these. I'm very proud of them. Yeah, that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Yeah, I will see you all next time. Bye! Special thanks to PelonX8, Untapped Inkwell, and Eric Svensson for being my patrons. If you would like to support my video work, head on over to my Patreon and check out the perks.